Welcome to Super Tuesday. It's presented by Progressive Insurance. Snowy Knoxville, Tennessee, although some of that snow starting to melt with a little rain overnight expected. And inside the Food City Center, the Tennessee Volunteers have been a much better basketball team than they have been on the road. Back in the rankings at number 25 now. They've won 4 of their last 5. This is the SEC on ESPN. Tonight it's the Ole Miss Rebels one more time playing a road game. It'll be their 3rd in a row. In fact, 3 of 4 consecutive games they'll play away from home, partly because of that snow and ice. Fresh off a 2-for-1 sport coat sale, Jimmy Dykes, Carl Ravitch, Alyssa Lang is going to join us shortly. Nate Ament was described as one of the premier freshmen of the country. He is beginning to play that way. Why?
Yeah, he's found his groove, and Rick Barnes has done a great job of being patient with his freshman that just oozes talent. The last 3 ball games, he's kind of taken a hold of this Tennessee offense, and man, he has delivered in a big-time way. 6'11", long, skilled, and Rabbi, what I love about this guy, he's an everyday guy. He's getting better with every single bounce of the ball. The three-point shot's starting to look a lot more comfortable. He's attacking that rim with force and aggressiveness. This is the classic kid that's just going to get better and better. It bodes well for his draft status. But man, the last 3 games, look at that. Just over 23 points a game and 7 rebounds. A career-high 29 at Alabama. That's how I judge how good you are on the road. He delivered.
Happy to have Alyssa Lang alongside. Alyssa.
Yeah, and a big reason for Nate Ament's improvement over the last few games, guys, goes back to early January before the Florida game when him and Rick Barnes had a sit-down, tough conversation where Coach Barnes basically said, "What's going on with you?" Felt like he was a little bit off. They talked about the pressures that come with being such a highly touted freshman, all of the pressure that comes in playing in the SEC. Nate Ament told me today, "I wish we had that conversation sooner." Coach Barnes always has all the answers, and ever since then, I played so much looser. Guys, he scored double figures in every game since January 10th.
All right, Alyssa, thank you very much. And you saw that JP Estrella jump center for Tennessee. They're a little banged up tonight. No Felix Okpara. And he, of course, is their center. He had started 64 consecutive games before missing the last one and tonight's. Malik Dia with the ball is the best player on Ole Miss. One-on-one fadeaway jumper. That's no good. And Tennessee rebounds with the best in the country, Jimmy.
Yeah, especially on the offensive end. And that's starting 5 for Rick Barnes. 2 freshmen, unusual for Coach Barnes.
Kobe Gillespie was in foul trouble in the last game. This time he penetrates. Finger roll is no good. And the rebound goes to the team in blue. That's Ole Miss. You take a look at their starting 5, which includes Ilias Comardon, who's got the ball, Carbardine, I should say, with the ball. Came in as a highly touted kid out of France. The transition to college basketball here in the States has been a little bit longer than they would have liked. More time, they isolate Dia, and they'll kick it around. Perry, quick touch, 3 is off.
Really good defensive rotation by Tennessee to come down and double and then fly out of that and respond as that ball got reversed.
Estrella camped out underneath. That ball deflected out of bounds.
Well, we know this about Tennessee. They're going to set the rules of the game offensively by jackhammering that ball inside to Estrella and Brown to start with. That is the DNA of Rick Barnes. And Rick Barnes won a ball game over the weekend. Did not make a 3-point shot against Auburn the last 35 minutes of the game. But that's how good they are in the painted area.
Well, they worked on that little out-of-bounds play this morning, and it did not work there as Amen came to try to set a back screen, and Ole Miss did a good job of blowing it up.
Yeah, it did work better against the managers.
It sure did. That one looks good from Carbardine, and it is good. A 3 to give them an early lead.
No, Ole Miss doesn't make a lot of threes, about 7 a game at 33%. But, man, it's an Ole Miss team that offensively they can get in some droughts. A good start for them, knocking down a 3-ball.
Tennessee does not make a living shooting the 3-ball either. Like Florida, they'll try to pound it into the paint. And just as we say it, an opportunity for a long one, no good, but boy, an easy one for Estrella. They pick up like 40%, 45% of their misses.
Yeah, like 45% exactly. It's the best offensive rebounding percentage team in the country. These guys in off-white.
Watch out, Gillespie blew it up. Perry back there, fouled him, and he can't get it to go. Travis Perry commits the foul on Jacoby Gillespie.
Yeah, Travis Perry is not a pure point guard, forced to do a lot of the handling right now for Chris Beard. And Chris Beard's been with his guys on the road since Friday. To your point, they're fixing to play 4 in a row because of weather concerns. But, Ravi, a lot of times when you're with your team like that for 5 straight days, man, the game becomes so big and the focus is sharp. And that's certainly what Chris Beard's hoping for in this one.
Free throw miss, been a problem for Tennessee all season long. As you take a look at a scene very similar to what we saw in Nashville, Tennessee, Oxford, Mississippi, shrouded in ice. You know, one of their ops guys told us today, look, as pretty as it looks, and it does look pretty, it is an absolute nightmare. Thousands still without power. And our thoughts are with everybody because we saw it firsthand in Nashville. Remember, they played the game in Nashville against Vanderbilt, which ultimately was a switch. And later this season, 6 of their last 8 for Ole Miss will be played at home, including a Vanderbilt game originally scheduled on the road. He made one, will try again. That one's a little too strong, and a loose ball is picked up by Gillespie.
Now, Chris Beard will tell you, though, we're a no-excuse program, and he wants his guys to fight hard in this ball game. You and I saw them against NC State prior to Christmas. That's the only game they didn't bring the motor and the effort.
Amen. Bad pass, Jimmy. He was triple teamed. And a chance here with numbers at a corner 3. Turns into a drive and a high arcing shot. Difficult shot over a couple of different defenders. Patton Pinkins is one of the best freshmen in the SEC. Doesn't have the story behind him yet, but this guy does it all. And think about this. He only has 2 turnovers the entire season. Talk about 23 in blue. They're under 10 now on the shot clock. Estrella camped out down low. They get it to the freshman Brown, who throws one up, no good. J.P. Estrella tips it up and in. He's got 4 early points.
He has a great set of paws, Estrella does, right or left. With those little touch putbacks, he's as good as we have in this league.
Estrella grew up playing high school ball in Maine and played against Cooper Flag on occasion.
You have to get yourself open against Tennessee, Ravi. You got to do it with your feet. You can't get in an upper body wrestling match with Tennessee.
That was a contested 3. Gillespie, a good job. Perry almost double pumped on that. Amen. No good. An offensive rebound and a kick. Gillespie splat.
Big time pass by Boswell. I mean, no hesitation at all. As the pass was coming to Boswell, he knew with his left eye that ball was going to get reversed up top.
That's a good point. Gillespie was in a ready-to-shoot position when he got it. He came from behind. This time, Perry is more wide open. He's a very lethal 3-point shooter, but not there. And they got a chance with Brown underneath with Perry on him, but they pull it back up. The size advantage is obvious to anybody that's here and watching on TV. You got Brown guarded by Perry, and Estrella's got 6 quick ones early.
You cannot, if you're Ole Miss, get cross-matched in your transition defense. That time, Perry, from the initial pass, was matched up against Dwayne Brown. That is a problem.
Dia, no good. And after they made their first 3, they have now gone 0 for their last 5. Amen. Blow by, net, and he's able to withstand it, although that right leg appears to be banged up a little bit.
A little bit of an awkward landing on that right knee. You see him grabbing it. But again, those are the type of plays in the last 3 weeks. He has really started to accelerate those collisions at the rim.
9-0 Tennessee run. Pinkins, wow, they're going to live and die by shooting 3s all night?
Well, it's awfully difficult to get inside the teeth of that Tennessee defense. Chris Beard giving his guys a green light early. You're open, we got to let it fly. Again, I love Pinkins. He's just got a tremendous future about him. Coach's kid, knows the game, sees it well.
Ole Miss set to bring 4 different dudes into this game as Estrella had it deflected away. Was banged up, and it's taken him a long time to, as his coach said, finally get his feet underneath him. He says he's, in his opinion, as good as a freshman as we have in a conference, and there's a bunch of them. Dia will get hit. He'll end up shooting 2 free throws, Jimmy, with a 12-8 start for the Vols.
Well, we know that Tennessee on their home floor can really get it rolling. That you reverse that basketball as quick as Boswell did, and that's a step-in clean three with Jacoby getting behind the ball, stepping into it. And then Nate Ament, this play right here is what you're seeing from Nate Ament the last 3 weeks. Hard drives with force, win the collision. Well done by Tenon White.
ESPN's exclusive presentation of college basketball is presented by Progressive Insurance. To bundle home and auto and save, visit progressive.com. And in part by Fairlife. Enjoy great taste and nutrition with Fairlife Ultra Filtered Milk. The national champion cheerleading squad from Tennessee this year.
Yeah, the Division I co-ed game day national champions goes to Rocky Top. I think their second national championship in the last 3 years, and there they are on that baseline. And I was actually there. I think everybody knows our daughter's a cheerleader. I was there for the semifinals and then got to watch the finals online. But, man, just a shout-out really, Ravi, to Tennessee, Alabama, Kentucky, Ole Miss, those cheerleading squads in the SEC that compete, the hours they put in, on and on. There's a Kenny Dykes right there, just part of a national championship team. That's a big deal for those guys.
It was funny because Rick Barnes was here during their workouts, their practices 3 times a day.
Yeah.
And it's not limited to Tennessee.
Yeah.
All these cheerleading programs.
He told his guys, you think we're going hard?
Right.
The cheerleaders are going 3 times a day.
All right, so D is going to come out of a game. James Scott is going to come in, the junior out of Fayetteville, North Carolina, by way of Louisville. One thing that Chris Beard has had to do, Jimmy, with this, he remade this team. I mean, there's like 10 new players on this group.
Well, he's not the only one in college ball that's had to do it, but Chris Beard can coach the game as well as anyone. He took Ole Miss to the Sweet 16 last year. We know he's been to that Final Four national title type stuff. And he's just got to get more out of Malik Dia, AJ Storr. Those guys got to produce every night in this league.
Dean, difficult shot, no, and they do miss and take a bunch of those floaters. And that was an off-balance one that didn't go as a bunch of substitutes are into the game, including Eduardo Klafke, who wears number 8. AJ Storr, you mentioned, he's number 2. Good shooter. He used to play, of course, for Kansas, Wisconsin. Troy Henderson, the ball handler for Tennessee, just never turns it over, and it frees up Gillespie to take some threes.
He can stroke it. I mean, that guy can really rip it. He's the point guard, but they move him off the ball when Henderson comes in. And he is a dual threat. Rebounds 10-2 early in this game. A major concern for the visitors from Oxford.
You watch the contested shots as Gusto's shot comes up way short. Out of bounds, it'll stay with Ole Miss as we send it to Alyssa.
Well, guys, I'm actually walking down to the Tennessee sidelines right now. When we last saw Nate Ament on the floor, we saw him land funny. He looked visibly uncomfortable. You guys pointed out that right leg. I'm actually trying to get a better visual on what he's doing right now. He didn't get any treatment from what I saw during that last time out. Nothing on. After that big basket there, I actually am standing now right behind him, and he does have a wrap on that right leg.
Yeah.
I'll work to get an update there on exactly what the situation is.
All right, the threes are raining right now for Tennessee. Alyssa, that was Henderson. Difficult baseline shot. Contested, will stay here. As Ron Groover makes the call from out there mid-court. Courtney Green, Ron Groover, James Breeding, all part of the festivities here at the Food City Center. Tennessee double up Ole Miss early. Last year, Tennessee was a top 5 team, and lo and behold, Ole Miss gets a putback from Jamin Brakefield, who scored all 19 of his in the last 11 minutes, gave them a 2-point lead. They hang on, and at Oxford, they storm the court. Ole Miss beat Tennessee 78-76. It was part of a good story for Chris Beard last year. The story so far this season and this night, Jimmy, they've taken a whole bunch of shots. 8 of 12 have been from 3. They've made 2 of them.
Yeah, and they're only getting one shot, Ole Miss, and it's the rebounding numbers, the game within the game anytime you play Tennessee. Remember, Tennessee's coming off of a game where they had 4 different dudes get 8 rebounds. The last time that happened was 20 years ago, and look what Ament, Boswell, Evans, and Carey, and then Dwayne Brown was almost the 5th guy to get 8 in the last game. They just punish you on the glass, this team in white.
second team on the floor for them, with the exception of the point guard. And a difficult shot there by Klafke goes in off the window.
Klafke gets minutes because of his absolute effort. Shot maker, defends well. He's got size right now on Gillespie on this near side to us.
Laurie Evans is in the game. He has the ball, one in white, along with Henderson, whose turnover assist numbers are just off the charts. And that's what Rick Barnes really needs to protect the basketball. Gillespie, that is off to the left and way short. Oh, and a bailout foul there for Tennessee, as Ole Miss is going to get whistled for it.
You look at Nate Ament, Ravi, the year that he's having. He's one of 6 freshmen in the country, averaging over 16 points and 6 rebounds. I mean, he is an everyday guy. He wakes up with a purpose and a passion for the game. He's learning to play close to the ground like Kevin Durant did his freshman year under Rick Barnes. There's so much growth still ahead of that young man.
Henderson's three is too strong. And here comes Ole Miss. You mentioned one of 6 freshmen, 16 points, 6 boards. As we get a wedgie here. The Food City Center. Got 1 of 6 with 16 and 6. Boozer, DeBonsa, Caleb Wilson, DeRitter, and Steinbach out of Washington. Those are the 6. So that's good company to keep. And Ament is now off the bench and coming back into the game.
Yeah, that is the best sign for Tennessee so far, almost through this first half.
Jalen Carey is into the game as well. Carey and the freshman Brown were described by one coach, Stephen Pearl, as SEC defensive ends. That's how big and strong they are. That's off to the left. Klafke's been impressive since he's been in the game. Anytime you grab a rebound like that, put a notch in his belt and Beard's impression. One store, that's way short, nearly a second wedgie. Jimmy, next here on ESPN2, Super Tuesday rolls on. That's going to be Boopy Miller and SMU. They'll host Darian Williams and NC State. Do I look happy, Will Wade? You bet he does. 7-2 in conference. And the other night, 96 on the road with 19 assists on 33 made baskets.
Rav, you've mentioned a couple of times Ole Miss taking some tough twos. You're going to see a lot of mid-range twos from Ole Miss. Their average 2-point shot distance is 9 feet. That's too far out. The best teams in the country, they're going to shoot those 2-point shots about 4 feet and down. So Ole Miss, that equates also to just a 46% 2-point team. I think they take probably a few too many tough twos, especially when their average distance is at that 9-foot mark. Does that make sense?
It sure does. Part of that probably has to do, though, with the lack of size. I mean, you can see Tennessee's approach. You got Estrella, you got Ament. Let's get the ball down low next to the rim. They don't have the guys they can do that with.
No, they don't. And Ole Miss plays a heavy dose of isolation basketball, just getting guys on an island, especially with A.J. Storr and Malik Dia. And that's that point distribution I'm talking about, where they take shots at. And you want that shot at the rim percentage to be a little bit higher, but that mid-range at 22%.
After review, the ball did touch the rim, so we do have a reset for a 20-second shot clock.
But just 8 turnovers a game for Chris Beard's guys is second in this league only to Vanderbilt in terms of the percentage of turnovers they have. They are very clean typically with the ball.
Nice Good cut underneath, really was, and he missed an easy one. That's one of those 2-point shots, Jimmy, that is far closer than 9 feet, and Augusto Casilla missed it.
And those are just body blows to the entire Ole Miss team and staff. You get one right at the rim against Tennessee and fail to complete it. I saw Chris Beard immediately just drop his head, like the body language. Those misses hurt.
That one is off Ament.
You have to have a just get it in play against Tennessee. They put length on the ball typically, and they get body to body. They out-physical you before the official puts the ball in play. And you must have a safe get in play against the Volunteers.
Klafke, Pinkins with the ball. Pinkins SEC opener against Oklahoma. He exploded for 25 points.
He was coached a lot by his dad growing up. Al Pinkins, the assistant.
Yes.
I love what he did. He said anytime that we got a big lead, I quit scoring and became a facilitator, and coach made him work on his all-around game. Man,
Mardine is
yes,
loaded tonight.
And I talked to Malik Dia earlier today. He said one of the things with Pinkins that they keep encouraging him to do is just keep shooting. Obviously, as a freshman, sometimes you don't want to steal any of the attention away from some of the seniors. He said, no, we need you to be that guy for us.
Yeah, you can understand that. A little deferential treatment. It's interesting. Comardine has shot well, Jimmy. He gets taken out of the game for a breather right now. And they're back within 4 points on a Tennessee drought that's lasted 2 minutes, 30 seconds.
Yeah, think about Comardine. He's banged a couple of twos already. He came in tonight shooting 19% from the three-point line in conference play. Hard to move Estrella.
Yeah, chest to shoulder, it sure is, but there's your guy, Pinkins, who buries a three to pull him within one.
Well, Chris Beard has charged him, hey, just go get buckets. And Patton Pinkins already has a couple of game winners at the buzzer for Ole Miss as a freshman. Has kind of let the older guys lead this team, but you see him starting to grow, and a really good find by Casilla. And Pinkins just dials it up. And a good job of getting separation to that far deep corner.
Difficult shot, man. That's hard to stop. How about Jalen Carey up over Scott?
He is so good, just touching you with that shoulder and knocking off contact.
6'8", 267 is Jalen Carey. Carey, of course, at Kentucky, a sharpshooter. Hounded by Gillespie. Klafke, good crossover, quick release off to the right. Carey clearing space.
He is such an outstanding rebounder, Carey. And I'd say 90% of his rebounds on the year are below the rim. It's all about his body and owning his real estate.
Dream school for Gillespie, who took a lot less money to come to Tennessee. There were other schools, Carolina, that were interested in getting him, but he wanted to stay in state and play for the Vols since he was a little kid. That's Jacoby Gillespie as Klafke picks up his first.
Yeah, heck of a high school football player as well was Gillespie from down the road.
Vanderbilt wanted him to play football.
Yeah, he's a
2 or 3 Division I
quarterback. Yeah, he did it all.
But he said he knew. I saw a long feature report on him last night. He knew in his heart basketball was his calling. Older brothers helped drive him. He was always going to different games to watch him. Amen. Quickly double teamed and then just barreled down to the ground, and he continues to be in some pain. And it may be that leg again, as he is stiff-legged right there, and Carey has to be cleared away by his teammate Boswell.
Well, Nate Ament is starting to attract double teams in this league. They're trying to get the ball out of his hands and being physical with Nate Ament. He's starting to grow in that area. And they're probably going to look at this for possible dead ball contact foul after the play. And Nate Ament just gets ran smooth over. And then after the play is what the officials are going to be looking at. But that's the attention and the gravity ability now that Nate Ament has with a basketball in his hands. We talk about gravity ability for shooters, but this guy's got gravity ability now with that rock.
Casilla gets called for the foul. Barnes is talking to the officials. They'll take a review. We'll take a timeout.
Utah State, Ravi.
It's hard not to pay attention to the unbeatens. We appreciate you guys. We look forward to the halftime report back here 2017. They reviewed it, Jimmy. It was called a common foul on the floor, and it stayed a common foul.
Yeah, they were looking for possible dead ball contact technicals. There wasn't any. Carey and Casilla got a little bit of a jawing match, but nothing there. Just a common foul committed against Nate Ament.
Keep an eye on Nate Ament. He is still ginger on that right leg of his, and that's a big story as he has the ball now. Potentially huge story for Tennessee, as he will have a chance to knock down a three. That's too strong.
He's a little bit of an arm shooter, Nate Ament. And Rick Barnes spent a lot of time trying to get him to drop his butt on the catch, get his legs more into the shot. Just another area of improvement for Nate Ament going forward.
Yeah, you mentioned Kevin Durant played low to the ground. What does that mean?
And when you're 6'11", 7 feet, you have a tendency to play too upright. And Nate Ament in the last 3 weeks, you watch his film, he's really using the ground, the wood, as an ally in his game.
Brown with a block on that Travis Perry three. There's a block, too. Casilla out of nowhere.
Well, it's not easy because Tennessee had guys sealed off with that security guard screen action that they use, just holding people back, you know? You call them roadblock screens? I like that description as well.
It just opens up a lane, and it's prevalent. We saw it so often in that Florida game when they scored all those 70-plus points in the paint. Part of that is opening the paint. 3 seconds on the shot clock. Johnson heaves one up. It did draw the iron, which allowed them to get the offensive rebound.
Your best chance for an offensive rebound against Tennessee is a long missed three, because then it becomes a foot race to the ball.
Perry, good pass to Dwayne Brown on the other team.
Ravi, this is where he gets ran over defensively, and that defender comes in hard. Rick Barnes probably wanting them to take a look at it. Was that foul excessive, unnecessary? No, I mean, he came with his hands high, Casilla did. But then what the officials were looking at was right there, and there was never any contact between Carey or Casilla, so therefore no dead ball contact technicals.
Troy Henderson's an important player on this team. They have tried to practice on occasion without Gillespie because A, he plays a lot of minutes, and they'd like to find a backup point guard they can trust with the ball. Henderson's 25 assists, 5 turnovers have been a big story this season. He's a freshman. It's a little unique. You mentioned it, Barnes playing so many freshmen. But, man, they have turned it over a little bit more than they'd like. So Henderson could become an X factor for Tennessee.
Yeah, you're talking about 24 up top. I mean, he's, 3 state championships. He was under-recruited, actually committed to Fordham initially, and then the coaching change was made, and Rick Barnes scooped in and got him.
Yeah. Out of Richmond, Virginia, just 6'1", 186. You see that black tape on that left shoulder. You're a little worried about him taking a hard hit there. But he is a muscle when you can watch him, how strong he is. Yeah. He's on the floor tonight.
Not afraid. From day one, he's not been afraid. He shoots it. He's tough. Future looks bright for Troy Henderson in this system.
4-point game. Ole Miss looking for their offense. Much of it has come from outside like that. Pinkins finds the bottom again. He's off to a flying start.
I like what Chris Beard has done offensively. He's keeping that floor spread, and instead of being stubborn and trying to go inside against the size of Ole Miss, he's spreading it out and letting his guys fire.
3 of 4 from 3. He's got 11 of their 20. Patton Pinkins, the freshman. Again, Ament double team, nearly lost it out of bounds. Well, Jimmy, he's got to recognize the double, triple team quicker.
Yeah, the Ole Miss came in making 7 threes a game at 33%. It's not necessarily their strength. It's also not a deficit, that number. But Chris Beard is keeping the floor spread. And he's playing a small lineup, forcing those bigs inside for Tennessee, Ravi, to make long closeouts to those 3-point shooters.
Great pass down low. Estrella had it knocked away from behind. And again, Casilla has been very active.
Yeah, Ole Miss's quickness to the ball has bothered Tennessee around that rim a couple of times this half.
All the height advantage. Augusto Casilla has played very big tonight. We're going to get a whistle there on a hold.
Some guys can rebound out of their areas, and other guys can just make plays out of their area. And that's exactly what Casilla does, Ravi. He comes 15 feet downhill and just eats the ball up top, keeps his body off of Estrella. Man, what a good start for Ole Miss in this first half with just over 5 to go.
Sure is. There hasn't been a lot of life in the building, and this is one of the louder buildings.
All that favors the visitors.
Yeah. That ball deflected. Good job there, Bishop Boswell, as he knocked it off the leg of Casilla. And it's the 3rd turnover for Ole Miss. One thing they do really well is protect the basketball. They don't turn it over.
Talk about Ole Miss.
Yes.
No, they don't. And one thing Ole Miss does, or Tennessee does, I talked about it, their baseline out-of-bounds defense is as good as there is in this league. And Bishop Boswell, the primary guy that you have to be responsible for and know where he is, because He is a steal waiting to happen.
Mari Evans back in the game, number 1. He's in the corner right now. He gets about 17 minutes off the bench in SEC play. Just another freshman out of Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania.
So look for Ole Miss. You got to get to that logo. The ball has to get to the logo for Tennessee. Estrella's a good playmaker at 6'11".
That SEC logo right there, and there it is. Good call, Jimmy, but it's missed by Brown, and it's picked up by Ole Miss.
Again, Ole Miss, man, they are fighting with speed and quickness, bothering those inside finishes.
Corinne Johnson, crossover play, corner, Casilla. They really are struggling from the 3. 5 for 15 right now in the game. Defense has been terrific, Jimmy, though. Tennessee hasn't had a field goal in 4.5 minutes. Boswell will try to change it with a 3 that won't roll in. And Estrella's height helped pick up another offensive rebound. Boy, there's a lid on the rim right now for the Vols. Almost 5 minutes without a field goal.
Ole Miss doing a really good job, though, of defending those rim shots without fouling. We haven't had a foul called yet on those Tennessee misses.
Last lead for Ole Miss, 5-3. Johnson step back 3. Too strong. And Gillespie looks up. He sees a run out. Ooh, Boswell, wow. Ran into Storr and went down hard.
It's kind of a tricky game for Tennessee, an emotional win late Saturday night against Auburn. They're going to Kentucky on Saturday. Ole Miss comes rolling in. Ole Miss has been all basketball for 5 days getting ready for this thing. It's a hard shot. They call it incidental contact. Bishop's nose would say otherwise.
Sure would. All right, KC, thank you guys very much. Sean and Seth. To Sean's point, Tennessee, they hit 7 of their first 11, but since then, 1 for their last 10. That's shutting off the water.
Yeah, it is. And if you're Tennessee, they're not going to change what they are. They know their DNA, their ID is to pound that thing to the orange part of the floor. You know, Chris Beard has done a good job in this game of keeping shooting on the floor. He hasn't had a lineup out there so far yet. They only got 2 guys that can shoot it. So that also is putting some pressure on that Tennessee defense in some longer recoveries than normal.
Well, Chris Beard was happy with his guys so far in the first half. Listening in to that last time out, he emphasized, guys, it's a 4-minute game. Take good shots. He might have said the word rebound 12 times in about 20 seconds, and he emphasized no turnovers. But to your point and everything you've been talking about, very happy with their defense and not allowing Tennessee any easy layups so far.
Yeah, they've stayed between the ball and the basket. He asked his team today, what scores? The answer is the ball. And the team in blue's done a good job of staying between it and the rim.
And Boswell's hard, and he will get the free throw line after a foul down low. The prior foul was not called on number 2, A.J. Storr. It was instead on Corinne Johnson. As they pick up their 7th foul. Thursday night, another ESPN Play for K women's basketball doubleheader. It'll be Toby Fournier, number 17 Duke, gets Laura Siegler, number 6 Louisville. That's 7 Eastern time. And then your pal Madison Booker in the 4th-ranked Texas. They host Flau'jae Johnson and 5th-ranked LSU. That'll be at the Moody Center in Austin. You can, of course, see those on the ESPN app as well.
Yeah, Texas got a good win on Sunday against Oklahoma. And you know, UConn, there's a pretty big gap in my eyes between UConn and the rest of the women's field. But after that, it's UCLA, but then right there the SEC with 3 teams, Ravi. South Carolina, LSU, and Texas. Like I said on Sunday, they're all capable of taking down UConn in a 1-game scenario.
But if it was a best 4 out of 7,
it's over. It's over. The women's tournament is over if it's the best out of 7. Gino's got one of his best teams and one of his best players ever in Sarah Strong.
Yeah, and some would suggest ever.
Yeah.
I believe Sarah Strong celebrated her 19th birthday today.
When you say that maybe the UConn's best player ever,
best team ever.
Best team, but Sarah Strong is right there with the best individuals I think he's had as well.
That means you're getting into the Beckers, Taurasi, Lobo conversation.
Yes. Some may argue, but just watch her play and the productivity in all areas of that game.
Ole Miss, as Seth said, made this game ugly in a good way for them. 23-20. Their magic number is 70. If they score 70, Ole Miss, they're 10-2. They're 1-8 when they come up short of 70. We're trending in the under 70 category right now.
Yes, but in order to win in this game tonight, it has to be. I grew up in Arkansas. I've watched a lot of tractor pulls in the summer. And that's exactly what you want. A tractor on one side and a tractor on the other with a chain that connects them. You just, who can pull the other one? And it's not a fast motion at all. And that's exactly what Ole Miss has going in this game.
Been a while since you've seen a Tennessee field goal. Do you want to venture a guess as to how long it's been, Jimmy?
It feels like 5-6 minutes playing time.
6 minutes and 20 seconds. We'll say this, they've taken the absolute air out of this Thompson Bowling Arena Food City Center. Gillespie, a high arcing three for a guy that can make them 26-20 now. And Jacoby Gillespie into double figures. And a little bit of noise from what is slowly becoming a packed house. Pull up there from A.J. Storr to quiet him.
That is his game. A.J. Storr is a guy on the road that Chris Beard can just go isolation basketball and say, get us a bucket. And a little bit of a mismatch in the explosiveness out of A.J. Storr at 6'5", over the top. Well, Gillespie's always a threat. He can shoot it from either logo on this floor, the orange one or the white one. Just a little bit of a down screen for Gillespie to shave off from that weak side. Now 3 out of 4 from the three-point line. Gives him 25 threes made in conference play. But he is a bucket getter. Shoots that ball with a high release. Small guards have to have that in part of their game, either from the three-point or the two-point part of the floor, the floaters. And Zero and White's got it all.
Tennessee's made one more field goal than Ole Miss in this game, 9-8. Amen. Open three, corner too strong. Estrella, and it looked like it went out of bounds off of Ole Miss, and it did. That was a good shot for Nate Amen, who's now 1 of 4 in the game. Boswell tries to find his footing down there. Jimmy tripped over one of those guys with the cameras. And that ball was deflected, but Carey comes up with it. Six seconds. Estrella. Boy, that is his shot. That little jump hook. Picked up the rebound. Missed a bunny. Boy, right at the rim. 2 opportunities for J.P. Estrella.
It should be a 10, 12-point lead for Tennessee, but their inability to finish at the rim is glaring.
Last 90 seconds. Storr, the drive. Yes, count it.
That's the continuous motion that's in the college game this year. When you're playing Ole Miss, you got a real problem if you can't stay in front of A.J. Storr. And Storr's starting to feel a little bit. I mean, he can go for 25 as well as anyone in this league. And anytime you drive the ball through the elbow, man, you're in a good position to score. And that's exactly what A.J. Storr just did. He won the elbow, therefore he won the rim.
A little hesitation, too, on that drive. That's the foul, first one on Boswell. It's a 1-point ball game.
Man, you know Chris Beard feels so good about his guys right now. Coming off of a tough loss at Vandy, they played extremely well in the second half, had a chance to win it at the end. They've come to Knoxville on point and on purpose. Seriously,
with the exception of the NC State game we saw, haven't they been in every game?
Every game. 20 of 21 is what they'll tell you.
Gillespie, Scott comes out on him. Good hands again, man. You're into deflections. They've had a ton of them in the first half.
That's a long team that Ole Miss has on the floor right now. No small guards, a lot of long wingspan. They're doing a good job of icing the ball downhill.
5 on the shot clock on the inbounds. And Carey thought about it. Barrels his way into the paint. Missed another layup. Good hustle, but it's out of bounds off Ole Miss again. And the one thing Beard said, look, I promise you, because he knows the game we saw. In fact, I believe you circled some of the starters who ended up spending most of the time on the bench. He said, we're going to play hard. I promise you that.
I'm not so sure you and I being here tonight doesn't have a little bit to do with that. Like, if I'm Chris Beard, I tell my guys, the last time Ravi and Dykes were at our game, we did not show up. And
Dykes made a point of that.
But he promised us tonight, we will play hard. And man, so far so good for Chris Beard.
Under a minute to go, Boswell. Amen. Another miss, 1 of 5 now in the game, and a chance here for Ole Miss to grab the lead again.
Just good game rebounding by Ole Miss in this game.
That's his strongest move tonight, but it goes halfway down and out.
I would take the last one. I mean, there's what, 2 seconds differential? Take the last one. Give yourself a chance for an offensive board right now after Tennessee.
Tennessee's got 7 fouls. Ole Miss 7 fouls. They do not want to commit one, and Gillespie will bring his team to the bench to talk it over here and design a play in the last 16 on the shot clock.
Barnes didn't like what he saw because Ole Miss shaped up to a 1-2-2 zone. A little bit of a chess match right now with 18 seconds to go.
Ole Miss at one point were shooting about 3/4 of their shots from three-point land, and they did not have a good percentage. They have since warmed up a little bit to a tune of 32%, kept themselves in the game, and Tennessee has gone the other way. They've made 2 of their last 16 shots.
Ole Miss has made 5 threes in this first half and only 4 twos. I mean, this game looks like the SEC 5 or 6 years ago when it was a defensive league and teams really struggled to score. Hadn't been the case so far this year until this game.
So Rick Barnes has his play with 16 seconds to go.
Now the zone has changed up a little bit. Could shape up to a 1-3-1, and Chris Beard has Tennessee guessing how to close out this half. Watch out.
Yep, it was taken away by Storr. They got numbers.
Plenty of time.
They got 4 seconds. Dia lost it. They'll get the shot. Pickens, no. Boy, we will.
Ole Miss won the last 18 seconds. Chris Beard changed his defense, grabbing 3 times on the last possession.
Alyssa.
Coach, your guys are 2 of 16 of their last shots. What has to change offensively in the second half?
Well, we got to make it 1-foot, 2-foot shot. That's the big thing. We're getting the ball where we want it, but those guys, I don't know how many of them we missed, but we missed a lot of them. Big difference in the game if we do that. And then right there, we knew exactly what they were going to do, and we knew they would get to it. We just didn't handle the ball.
Defensively, what are you seeing from your group?
Well, we lost the shooter, the one guy we don't want to lose, but, otherwise, 25 points, we can live with that, but we let their best shooter get too many looks at it.
Thanks, Coach.
Okay, thank you.
Thanks, Alyssa. Their best shooter, the guy he's talking about, Pat Pinkins, 11 points, 3 of 4 from 3, 4 of 6 overall. Gillespie leads the way on the other side. We got a good second half coming up, 26-25. Back to the studio, Kevin Connors.
Ravi, you said it. Pinkins has been done.
Welcome back to Super Tuesday, presented by Progressive Insurance. Tennessee, that's the fewest points they have scored in a half this season, 26. And Gillespie and Estrella combined for 6 of the 9 field goals the team has. They lead it by 1 over Ole Miss, who has tractor pulled this thing right into a 1-point game. Jimmy Dykes, Carl Ravitch, Alyssa Lang in a moment. This is exactly what Ole Miss wants, right?
It is, and what have they done? They've taken care of the basketball, Ole Miss, which they've done a great job all year. They've hung in there on the glass, and they've also done a good job of defending without fouling. All those shots that Rick Barnes talked with Alyssa about around the rim, Ole Miss has done a good job of getting their elbows by their ears and not fouling and bailing them out. So Patton Pinkins is playing like General Patton Pinkins for Ole Miss so far. The guy has just made shot after shot after shot. And Coach Barnes told Alyssa, we let their one shooter get loose. Well, it's 23 in blue, shooting 45% in conference play from 3. And he does a good job, man, of pushing himself off away from defenders. And those long closeouts, Tennessee playing with a big lineup, he's gotten loose 3 or 4 times.
Well, guys, I caught up with Ole Miss head coach Chris Beard coming out of the locker room. I asked him what he anticipated from Tennessee defensively when it comes to adjusting to Pinkins. He said, well, he wasn't thrilled with some of the handsiness in the first half, but obviously continuing to get it to Patton based off of what he did in the first half will be crucial. I'm told it was a spirited locker room at halftime from Coach Beard. He challenged his guys at the beginning of this game to get on the glass, something that they did better towards the second half of that first half, something that he continued to challenge them at the break.
Yeah, well, I mean, they've been in this situation a lot, as we've chronicled these games, especially, let's see where they are in the last 8 to 4 minutes of the game. And can they finish it out, as Ament will be held outside. That's going to be a foul on Comardine.
Yeah, that's one of the big points of conversation with Chris Beard and us today. Like, we've been in every ball game. Can we just finish it off? A lot of times we've missed an assignment. It goes back to the scouting report. We've had a key turnover here or there, a missed shot. They have gained pressure on Tennessee in their home building right now.
First foul on Comardine. You mentioned the limited turnovers. Just 4 in the game for Ole Miss. Brown, big kick, Gillespie. Got another one.
A well-designed play by Tennessee, knowing that Ole Miss is going to load up to the ball side of the floor. They enter it to Brown, who finds the backside bomb with Gillespie.
All 4 of his field goals, 3-pointers. Lead grows to 4. 1 foul in this half on Ole Miss. Dia did not have a field goal in the first half. He ended up with just 1 point. So they try to get him going here early. And a quick double team.
Ready for Tennessee, Nate Ament came in averaging 23 the last 3, only 2 points in the first half. And Comardine starts the second half like he did the first half.
That's his 3rd 3 of the night. Pulls him back within 1. 13 points in the game for the point guard of Tennessee. That 3 comes up way short. Brown is there. You can hear the foul, and he laid it up and in.
And what can Brown do for you? He can go down and get it up quickly. He's got really good hands, like quick hands for a guy 6'9". I mean, this ball's low. He gets it below his knees, and in a half a second, that thing's above the rim. And he does not fumble loose balls or bad passes very often.
No,
great
slap
set
on the wrist is not going to impact Dwayne Brown. 6'8", 251, Hoover, Alabama. 45% three-point shooter. It drops. And Tennessee is now 5 of 9 from the stripe, and the lead grows to 4. And the crowd has woken up a little bit.
That's trouble. And I say that's trouble, trying to take the ball, Ravi, without moving the defense at all. It is very hard, if not impossible, to get a first side of the floor gap attack against Tennessee.
Watch out for Brown. Yes, off his head into the hands of Perry.
See how hard they make you work? Those baseline out of bounds underplays, Tennessee.
Another corner 3 that comes up well short. Estrella picks up another rebound. Estrella in the paint. Too big, too strong.
Man, how about the soft feet of Estrella? And the ability to spin off of defensive pressure for a 6'11" guy is exceptional.
Dia one-on-one into the chest of Estrella. He's got a chance for a 3-point play and his first field goal of the night.
We're back-to-back big-time baskets by bigs on both ends. Watch Estrella. First of all, defensively, Dia's going to drive that ball and finish with that left side. And watch Estrella, boom, middle ball screen, dives out of it, pocket pass. That spin move right there is exceptional. To spin with speed, stay on balance, keep the ball away from the guard trying to scrape down. Big time finish by J.P. Estrella.
Estrella's first. You can see the potential of Estrella. We've made some comparisons to the great Kevin McHale of the Celtics, and the coaching staff for Tennessee talked about his footwork. That was the similarity they like most. Man, he gets that arm extended. You cannot block that shot. 3-point game, wide open. Too strong, Gillespie. Look at Ament, pick it up and put it back.
That's that rebounding number that can just continue to just be body blows like two heavyweight fighters, just blow after blow to the midsection. Is Tennessee on that offensive glass?
Good sign for Tennessee. There doesn't appear to be any ill effects from what was that right knee issue that Ament was dealing with in the first half. He wants to do it again. Soft pass finds Storr. Follows up his own miss, spins in the lane and up off the window.
He is really good on broken plays. And the first shot was a play call, but the second shot was a broken play where Storr is really, really good.
Big, thick body Storr, 6'5", over 200 pounds. Boswell, he's got it.
He can really rip it when his feet are set. He's not a turn 3 guy or sidestep. When that ball comes at his numbers, shoots it as well as anybody Tennessee has.
It's a little different pace of this game to start. It feels like we've had more field goals in the first 5 minutes of this half than we did the entire first half.
Yeah, you can see Tennessee trying to get more gas in this game and speed this entire vibe up.
Dia trapped on the baseline, kicks it, Store, good fake. 2 seconds. It's off and it's deflected, and they're going to keep it right here. It looks like that call is going to be on J.P. Estrella. Hey, Ole Miss doesn't grab a lot of rebounds, but they do force some loose balls off of them.
They keep them alive. They've been very active, Ole Miss has, with their hands in this ball game.
Seeing Corey Chest, who's into the game now, a former LSU product who's got athleticism. He wears 1 for Ole Miss.
Yeah, he is their best SEC athlete. 1 in blue, tucked away in that far corner right now.
Palmerdine, difficult shot, gets it to go. He's had a heck of a game.
They are not hesitant taking those 8-9 foot tough twos.
He's got 11. And Casilla active again on the defensive end. He had a couple of different blocks. He's looking for his coach to challenge that out of bounds call.
Right, that average 8-foot distance of twos that Ole Miss takes, that's number 360 out of 365 in the country.
Hey, you gotta roll it, gang.
I think Chris Beer wants the officials to look to see who that ball went out of bounds off of. Originally called Tennessee basketball. And Casilla sold it to his bench to say that should be our ball.
Well, if he sold it to his bench, the bench has to back it up with those media guys on the back row, the second row, right? Yep, Tennessee could not find the net to finish out that first half. Starting the second half, much better, much more aggressive. The ball movement has been outstanding. Bishop Boswell, rise, release, rotation. Good start to the half for the Vols.
ESPN.
All right, love a trade deadline. Love a good trade deadline. A lot of teams, especially in the East, have made moves. And, of course, we remember Darius Garland from his days in Vanderbilt here in the SEC.
We're getting close to that in college ball. A player plays for Team A one Saturday, and then goes to Team B the next Saturday and plays against Team A.
Jimmy, this was obvious to me. They reversed the call.
This was not obvious. They had to take a lot of time to look at it.
Right there.
Chris Beard uses his challenge well, and the call gets reversed. So Chris Beard doesn't lose a timeout and still has 1 challenge to use.
Hope
obvious
the
to
folks at
you.
home, I hope they're enjoying a commercial break. They're getting another one. 39-35. Promise action when we get back. Massive triple header day on Saturday. We'll be having the Kentucky-Tennessee game. Rick Barnes attempting to get his team to another tournament. They do that a lot. 7 straight NCAA tournament appearances.
Yeah, and he does it his way. Again, they did not make a 3-point shot against Auburn on Saturday, the last 35 minutes of the game. And they brought it to his attention after the game. He said, hey, I'm old school. I still believe in the wing T offense in football.
Corinne Johnson, a nearly impossible fadeaway. Fired up there. That did get the front of the rim. I said no, it didn't, but it appeared to go off the rim.
Well, guys, I was just listening in to that last Ole Miss huddle, and you will never believe this. Chris Beard was smiling at his team. He had a big old smile on his face talking about the effort that he's seen from his group, and something that stood out to all of us at shoot-around today, there were some frustrations. They were going hard. Those are always intense Ole Miss shoot-arounds. And he told his team, the frustration you're feeling right now is what you're going to feel for 40 minutes against these guys tonight. He likes so far how they've mentally responded.
Yeah, he said it's going to be a 2-hour fight. You can make excuses and run the wrong direction, or you can hang in there with an uphill battle. And to me, Ravi, anytime you're in an uphill battle, it usually means you're going the right direction, and that's exactly what his guys have done so far in this game.
You know, they're 11-10 overall, 3-5 in the conference, and yet you talk with him, and there may be some times that he's frustrated with the play. He likes the players on the team.
Yeah, absolutely does. They care about the right things, is how he puts it.
Gillespie, he got everybody off their feet.
Boy, Ole Miss just ambushes the ball defensively.
Yeah, Carey in trouble. Ament fires it up, and that's a great shot by Nate Ament.
It's a great cut followed by a great shot.
Now circle that basket, and a 6-point lead came at the end of the shot clock from Ament. Pinkins, this is 23 against 23. Oh, that was halfway down and out. And a chance now to make it 8 or 9. Gillespie. Down low to Carey. 3 are around him. And that one is blocked by Chest. And that's going to be a foul on Johnson out there on the floor.
Rick Barnes told us the game is starting to slow down for Nate Ament. But look at the cut. He just a feel and understanding. He sees the game. Nate Ament does now much better than he did 3 weeks ago. This play is a great example of it. Not feeling the shot clock pressure, understanding I got to have a bailout cut right now, and hot hands in and out of Nate Ament. Big time basket.
Is he understanding that I'm the one that has to go get that as opposed to someone else?
Yeah, he would not have made that play 3 weeks ago, Ravi, but he's seen the game now. The game is starting to slow down, which they do for the great ones.
Right there, he gets held by Malik Dia. So that'll be another foul on Ole Miss, their 4th of this half. And we still have 14 minutes to go. Gillespie. He's got as much range as anybody out there, and it turns into an Ole Miss ball on A.J. Storr. Well, he dribbles into traffic, and he finds himself with an open one that comes up short.
They got numbers if they can get the outlet pass. Good job by Ole Miss to jam that rebound and not let Tennessee get out and run.
Estrella with 6 rebounds. Too big and too strong for Jalen Carey.
He scores with his shoulder, but finishes with his right paw. And he does it as well as anybody in this league.
Well, he's banging shoulders with everybody. Yeah. He just gave a shot at Scott, then clipped Dia on the way by. Feels like a big trip for Ole Miss. And Storr needed it and got a big 3.
Yeah, he can. You just don't want to give him airspace when he's dancing with that ball up top.
They're going to keep it here.
Not the shot. It's not the shot that Tennessee wanted or needed to take by Amari Evans. Watch Tennessee just pound that thing inside. Jalen Carey is so good at getting his feet under his big, strong shoulders, and his left shoulder just knocks the contact off. This is what I'm talking about with Storr. He starts dancing with it up top. He's going to rhythm dribble into a rip 3 more times than not.
A.J. Storr has seen his minutes go down a little bit here. He's got 10 points as Gillespie has that deflected out of his paw and out of bounds. That was Scott who got a hand on it.
Paw is kind of catchy, isn't it? Once you start saying it.
Has it been said before tonight? Yeah, it's one of those words that once it's in there, it's hard to flush out.
Yeah. It's 22 outside. It's 107 in this building.
It is. Boswell got clipped. He's holding up his nose, and the referees are all saying, we got to take a look at this. And Carey is once again being held back by the officials. And A.J. Storr comes out of there clapping.
Bishop Boswell has been raked across that nose now 3 or 4 times in this game. And watch Boswell drive. And at the end of this play, right there. Oh,
the previous play is under review.
That's going to have a lot of conversations by those officials. First of all, the defender was inside that restricted arc trying to go vertical, but he gets that left elbow up right into the facial area of Bishop Boswell. And rotation over by James Scott. Watch that left elbow as he's going up. Man, do you say that's a basketball movement? He's trying to get his arms up to get it to verticality. Just bad place, bad timing for Bishop Boswell's nose. It'll be a big conversation between Courtney Green, Ron Groover, and James Breeding on this one.
Yeah, I mean, it's clear the elbow makes contact. I think what happens to Scott, if you watch Boswell, he ended up and intended to pass that ball the entire time, and Scott was going up like he was going to shoot a layup.
Yeah. I mean, Scott's going up with a defensive verticality play.
For a block on a layup,
yes.
And he's dumping it off.
Yeah. And then immediately, I think it was James Breeding with it. We're going to go look at it. I could see this being escalated to an F1, excessive and unnecessary, as hard as that shot was to Bishop Boswell.
Just because it was that hard a shot?
Yeah, and Bishop Boswell was in a little bit of a vulnerable position, starting to leave the floor. We've done a good job of protecting those guys recently, as we should.
Now, Ron Groover's going to come over and explain the call. Courtney Green is going to get on the microphone and explain it. Yeah, it looks like it's going to be upgraded to a flagrant 1.
Yeah, it's going to be upgraded to a flagrant 1 foul on James Scott. And we're going to have, I believe, a couple of offsetting dead ball technical fouls of jawing going on after the play. We'll get an explanation from Courtney Green.
I have a feeling that Courtney Green is trying to explain it, but he hasn't either turned the mic on or the microphone's not working.
It's the elbow and then the grab of Bishop Boswell. That's an easy F1 now that I look at it again.
After review, the foul on number 4 has been upgraded to an F1. Tennessee will shoot 2 free throws. After the foul, we had white 23 and blue 4 come together with a Class A technical, double Class A technicals. Those will go towards team foul and personal foul. Tennessee will have the ball on the baseline with a 20-second shot clock.
Well, it's the right call. Certainly the upgrade of the F1, and then a good job to stick those administrative technical fouls as well, because this game has been building in terms of the chippiness in dead ball situations.
And with that, team fouls now goes to 7 for Ole Miss. Jimmy, only 3.5 for Tennessee. I think that Boswell may be the guy in the SEC who is hit in the head or face more than any other player.
He is the heart and soul of this Tennessee defense. The culture that has been passed down from Grant Williams, Admiral Schofield, Zakai Ziegler, Meshack. Now it's right there in the hands of Bishop Boswell.
And only a sophomore. And Rick Barnes recently was asked about the unsung hero on the team, and if it's Amari Evans, the freshman, he said, don't discount what Bishop Boswell does. He's our unsung hero. And Casilla is the 8th foul committed by Ole Miss, that time against Amen.
Ravi, just watch off ball, Jalen Carey and Dwayne Brown. Tennessee's offense, they're the best offensive rebounding team in the country for a reason. That offense is built to always have those 2 bigs sitting on you, posting up low in tremendous offensive rebound position. They put a ton of pressure on the rim with their big post-ups.
Casilla and Scott each with 3 fouls for Ole Miss.
Rick Barnes will tell you that Nate Amen is a 5-star talent and a 10-star person. And those guys get better every single day. He has spent a ton of time with G, the strength coach, on the end.
Yeah.
And it's not only helping him physically, but just mentally his strength has gone to another level as well.
Basketball players don't come to Tennessee and get smaller.
No, they don't.
That's for sure. You think Admiral Schofield and others through the years. Nico Bundalo into the game now for Ole Miss. He wears number 7, partly because of the 3 fouls on the other 2 big guys.
And something's going to happen when Nico's on the floor.
Store got it. Yeah. He's feeling it right now. A.J. Stewart, he may single-handedly keep Ole Miss in this game.
A big basket.
Oh, boy, he got a lot of ball there. The officials are going to discuss whether this was goaltending. Right now, it looks like Ron Groover is pointing to the basket. And I think they're going to count the basket.
How impressive for Tennessee to get scored on, rip that thing out of the net, and run their sideline break with a big right down the middle. Feels like a big stretch right now for Ole Miss.
Agreed. Back from Alyssa Lang, Jimmy Dykes, Carl Ravitch, the SEC on ESPN. Big bucket in this game came Nate Ament at the end of the shot clock. Found himself cutting and banking one in. It gave them a 6-point lead. And it feels tenuous right now for Ole Miss. Will they get back within that number 6? The lead is currently 8. There's a free throw coming up for Tennessee and Dwayne Brown. And while Nate Ament numbers may not match what he's done on the season and recently, you can see the development, Jimmy, and the impact and the confidence that he's playing with.
Well, first of all, he leads everybody in this game. He's been fouled 4 times. So, yeah, he's learned to play through physical contact, but he's also putting fouls on the defense because he's learned to do it.
Where's Ole Miss answer come from? A.J. Stewart's been terrific. Pinkins from way, way downtown. Can't get that one to drop.
Rev, I said going to break, this feels like an important stretch right now for Ole Miss. They've played so good so far in this game, but starting to get to double figures with a Tennessee basket here.
And Ole Miss already with 9 fouls in this half. Boswell just invites physical contact. He's always mucking it up.
Well, Rick Barnes is questioning, where were you going with the basketball? I mean, you had nowhere to go. You drove and picked it up and got yourself in trouble.
Jimmy, you were just talking about the last few minutes being crucial for Ole Miss. It really feels like the way they look at this game has been huge. They've been talking about it since this morning, and Malik Diaz said, our goal coming into today was change the narrative. They've lost 3 straight coming into this one. Of course, that last loss at Vandy came by just 3 points, and they had an opportunity to tie it at the buzzer. Diaz said they know they're capable of closing out some of these close games that they've let get away. And Coach Beard has really challenged these guys to step up, not only from a leadership standpoint, but from a consistency standpoint as well. So to your point, not only are these moments crucial for Ole Miss, but a win over Tennessee would completely change the narrative for this program.
Yeah, and they got that last year, and they do not get the ball inbounds. Back to Jimmy's original point, there may not be a more difficult team to inbound the ball than Tennessee.
And because of it, again, you have to have a safe, get it in play against the Volunteers. And it has bitten Ole Miss in the backside now a couple of times.
To Alyssa's point, this is a team, Ole Miss, that trailed Vanderbilt by 2 with less than a minute to go before they lost 71-68 on Saturday.
Ole Miss has been good ambushing the ball in this game. When the ball breaks through that first line of defense right there, they send blue jerseys ambushing the ball really well. Again,
Gillespie, a high arcing 3 that hits the twine.
Here's the problem when you ambush the ball that hard. One more pass and a wide open 3-point shot by Gillespie.
Largest lead now, 51-40. Dia double teamed. That he will get fouled and I believe shoot 2 shots.
Watch Tennessee, and they get this defense in rotation. Those blue jerseys swarm, really heavy gap help, full body help by Ole Miss in this game. And you punch the paint and make that defense respond with full body help. Jacoby Gillespie will make you pay.
So Dia will go to the free throw line. Jimmy, Gillespie's made 5 field goals, all of them 3-pointers. He's got 16 points. Brown gets whistled for the foul on Dia, Alyssa, who makes the first.
Well, I want to tell you about our star-studded ESPN NBA Wednesday doubleheader. Nikola Jokic and Jamal Murray and the Nuggets are at MSG taking on Jalen Brunson and the Knicks, 7 o'clock Eastern. Then SGA and the Thunder square off against Wemby and the Spurs. Of course, NBA Countdown tips off coverage at 6:30, and you never know who's going to be playing where before we get to this trade deadline, guys.
Yeah.
Where's Lang going to be? Are you involved with one of those?
Not Wednesday, but I will be in Minnesota for the Timberwolves game on Sunday.
You're not involved in a trade, though, are you?
Who knows? You guys going to give me a lifetime contract or what?
We got a guy in the truck that might be able to work on that.
Yes, we do. Yes, we do.
51-42 as Dia made both free throws.
Everything about Tennessee, the #1 offensive rebounding team in the country, followed by Florida, Illinois #4, Arizona 5, Michigan State 6. Those teams are built to go a long ways come March.
Gillespie, no, and there is a chance for an offensive rebound, and it's Boswell who picks it up.
To my point about the importance of those second chance opportunities, those are killers.
They got 14 of them, and they're doing it without their arguably best rebounder, who's out with a calf injury. And that, of course, is Felix Okpara. There's going to be a foul on Comberdane. It'll be the 10th foul committed by Ole Miss. There he is, so a calf injury, and they believe he got kicked. And the calf has bothered him to the point that he's missed the last 2 games. And Jimmy, when you talk about Okpara, you're talking about a guy that has 31 blocks this season. He had started every game since he transferred over to Tennessee. And, when he goes on the floor with Brown and Carey, that is a formidable front line.
Well, he's bringing down, Felix Okpara is bringing down 1 rebound every 3 minutes and 50 seconds that he plays, which is a really good ratio. But that front line depth that Rick Barnes has built in from the portal with Jalen Carey, a healthy Estrella, Dwayne Brown, that freshman class, they are a load.
Estrella got whacked in the back of the head by Casilla. It's their 15th, Jimmy, 15th offensive rebound. Which is right on par with their average. Second in the NCAA. Ament knocks down a rim-rattling 3.
He would not have even taken that shot 3 weeks ago. His confidence is going through the Thompson Bowling roof.
19 second chance points, 13-point lead. Storrs got the Estrella matchup he wanted, no good. That's going to be on Gillespie. We'll keep it here.
And you talk about the value of those Tennessee offensive rebounds. Off of that missed free throw, Estrella keeps it alive, boom, and the kick out. And the follow-up by Nate Ament, the shot fake and the sidestep is some special stuff for a guy that's a legit 6'11".
There's that rebound margin of plus 14. They've had 11 games with 15 or more, which leads Division I. And again, they have rebounded 45% of their missed shots, which is the best in Division I.
What Rick Barnes asked me after practice today, the walkthrough, he said, do you think any of these plays will work? I said, no, I don't. But the most important thing is just get a dadgum shot off and let your 45% offensive rebound rate factor into the game.
We talked about that Ament shot that made it 41-35, and it being a critical point. They then outscored them 14-7 to open up their largest lead of the night.
Since that Nate Ament shot, yeah, that's some shots count more than 2 points, and that was one of them when it happened.
9 minutes to go. We have an 8-minute timeout, but they are called by Ole Miss and Chris Beard to talk things over, and maybe he senses the same thing that we do. Pinkins knocks that free throw down, Jimmy. His night had been highlighted by his shooting from the outside, but very quiet in the second half.
We saw Kentucky put up 49 points in the second half a couple of weeks ago to stun Tennessee here on their home floor. So Tennessee's also had a little bit of problem closing out games themselves, loose with the handle, some turnovers. You and I will be in Rupp Arena Saturday night for the rematch of Tennessee versus Kentucky. Kentucky taking on Oklahoma tomorrow night. And Kentucky has the most impressive win so far in SEC play, I think, this past Saturday. After they got knocked around by Vanderbilt, they go to Arkansas and win, so they have found their groove back. And this is the game waiting on us Saturday night, the rematch. A heated rivalry over the years between Rick Barnes and that Kentucky program, regardless of who the head coach is. But first and foremost, 9:02 to go to finish off this one.
Yeah, it's been fascinating, Alyssa, to watch Kentucky play this season. I can tell you that.
It certainly has, and that game undoubtedly stands out in the minds of Tennessee fans and this team. And it was interesting today, talking to Coach Barnes, just as far as some of those high highs and low lows, I said, well, what needs to happen for this team to take the next step? And I don't even think the question was out of my mouth before he said consistency. From every single player on my roster, we need to see consistency. And it's interesting, guys, we've had this conversation about how different this Tennessee team is from last year's team.
Yeah.
Very new faces compared to some of the guys who had been around Knoxville for a while on that 24-25 team.
Yeah, Estrella, boy, he rushed that one up
he
there,
did.
and Casilla will get whistled for the foul.
Yeah, he shot it before he finished his turn.
Yeah.
And he's often very patient at times, but again, it's almost like clockwork coming out of a timeout for Rick Barnes. That ball's going inside off of a physical, low post up.
Casilla has picked up his 4th foul. And just to wrap up Alyssa's point, the institutional knowledge that went away from last year, and Rick Barnes right away, you could almost feel the Zieglers of the world and the Mashaks, and in years past, the Vescovis who were around for so long. In a sense, he didn't need to say anything. They knew exactly what to do, how to do it, when to do it. Whole new group here, with the exception of a couple, like a sophomore, in Boswell.
Right, but it is February, so that conversation should not impact this team. They're in the month of February. They know how to play the Tennessee brand of ball, and that's the expectation, as it should be.
Yeah, Klafke with a good ball fake, and Eduardo knocks it down, the sophomore out of Brazil. It's a very international team with a couple of players from Brazil, a couple of players from France.
Ole Miss in a zone that at some point will go man-to-man within the possession, and it's just gone right now.
They need a stop, and Boswell pulls up and knocks down a baseline jumper from 15 feet away.
Listen to Estrella, Carey. Tennessee really talks to the ball at a high level defensively.
Sia lays it up and in, and a chance for a 3-point play.
That's a big-time bucket when this game's starting to get away. You said a physical ball screen in that middle third. Chris Beard talked about we're going to enter the ball from the middle third as much as we can in this game. And Casilla just does a good job of rolling out of it and then playing through a collision by Estrella. Really well done. You got to keep this thing in touch if you're Ole Miss. That basket keeps it in touch at the under 8. Ravi, Ole Miss had a must-score possession to keep this thing at 10 points or less. And you're going to see the ball screen right here, but the offense is right here, shooter and shooter. So what does that do? It opens up this middle third of the floor. And Tennessee a little bit hugged up. Nate Ament, number 10, probably could have come off more and tagged that roll guy. He just comes over a step late, but that's really good offense by Chris Beard to send that ball to the shooter's side of the floor and make that defense on the ball side decide, am I going to stick with a shooter or come off in hard heads and tag that roll guy? And, man, a big basket by 88 in blue to keep this thing in touch.
Tennessee shooting very well, Jimmy, almost 60% this half, 11 of 19. Remember, we went into the half. They had made just 2 of 16. Casilla shoots the free throw, comes up short. He plays with 4 fouls, nearly just picked up his 5th. He will not be called for that one. Instead, it's going to be Klafke, I believe, down on the ground. But Boswell, typical of Boswell, comes out of that kind of nicked up again. He's limping as he heads down to the free throw line.
Rabbi, just the 9th free throw attempt for Ole Miss in this game. They only average 18 free throw attempts a game. That's number 16 out of 16 in terms of free throw attempts, field goal attempts rate in the league. So Ole Miss doesn't get a lot of stuff from the free throw stripe, which also has not helped them in close games.
No. Boswell 1 of 4 from the stripe. On the night, just 55% for Tennessee, but that one is good. That's one of those things, Jimmy, you're going to have to really, and I know they work on it, but polish before you get into the tournaments.
Tennessee?
Yeah.
Yo, no doubt. What gets you beat in the regular season will knock you out in the postseason 9 times out of 10.
Lead is 12 again. It's matching the largest that they've had all night. Store, terrible pass right into the hands of Boswell. Watch out for Ament. Got a head of steam. Lays it up and in. You can see that develop right around half court, and then the handoff, and he saw the end zone and made it.
Ravi, this is what you recruit. You don't teach or coach. You either have that or you don't. He's a really good feel again for Nate Ament. And he's all of 6'11". And his ability to make violent cuts, knife cuts through the defense with and without the basketball is exceptional.
And Nate Ament is seeing his draft stock rise.
No doubt.
You look at the mock draft on ESPN, he's back in the top 15. After a sluggish start to his college career, he's poured it on. Storr got into traffic and he will be fouled.
Lottery picks move different than non-lottery picks. And Darren Peterson from Kansas is a great example of that as well. They just look different, and there's not many guys in the college level at this size can get that ball out in front of them with that first dribble, cover a lot of space with 2 strides, and just finish with that like elite above the rim, shooting the ball down type stuff.
Jimmy, you mentioned earlier that the game appears to be slowing down for Nate Ament. When I talked to him earlier, that's word for word what he said. He said it's just a confidence thing. I've been here a few months now, understanding what my role needs to be for this team and what it is to play in the SEC. But he gave his teammates a ton of credit. He said Bishop Boswell has been one of his go-to vets to help him not only adjust to college basketball, but of course life here at Tennessee. He said this is the most fun team I have ever been a part of. They're all hilarious, including Coach Barnes.
Well, I've seen Coach Barnes be not hilarious in practice.
Somebody's feeling it right now, though.
Yeah, he sure is. You put him in that back to the basket on that right side of the floor, pull-up jump shot. It's unguardable.
Storr pulls up, he knocks one down. The difference between Ament now and when we saw him at the beginning of the year, rightfully so, after that layup, he puffed his chest out.
He sure did.
He didn't do that in the beginning of the season.
But not in an arrogant way. Just you can see he's breathing confidence that he did not have early. It would be the same thing.
Yeah, they're holding him, fouling him. Storr goes over the top.
I believe that's the 7th foul he's drawn in this game, which is about right at his average on the year. And that shot right there. See how he goes low to high so quickly. And that's what I talked about. He's learning to play close to the ground, Ravi. And that's a good example of it. He caught it, he got low with his body, he got the ball low, and then boom, powers up with that elite high release.
And you can kind of feel the Ole Miss Rebels running out of gas here with 6:30 and the lead growing and Ament's point total going up. He now has 17 in the game. I love what you said, that there are certain baskets that count for more than just 2 or the 3 that get put on the scoreboard.
That was him.
See us sitting down there in the post trying to get it with Estrella one-on-one. Backs his way in and then gets the ball ripped away. And Beard's on the
that will
floor.
Be a team.
Oh, absolutely.
He might get tossed. He's probably going to get tossed.
Yeah, it's a technical foul on Beard, and he's been thrown.
Yeah. He wants to be tossed. Good job by Bob Donewald stepping between coach and the officials right now. Chris Beard letting him be in his ear and understand, okay, I understand, I got you. Really good job by Bob Donewald to try to settle Chris Beard down.
So the Ole Miss coach, Jimmy, I think you could kind of feel it in this room, and now he's being talked to by James Breeding. What point is he making?
Well, he felt like this guy got raked down on twice and the foul didn't get called. It was a very physical ball game. It's a coach fighting for his team in a road game. He knew exactly what he was doing. He's going back at him again. Or to his guys, I guess, for one last word. Nothing wrong with that. Got his last word into his guys, and now he'll go to the locker room.
Well, they played very hard in this game, and it was a very physical game.
Yeah.
And, yeah, I mean, that was kind of obvious what the message was to his team there.
Ravi, he's all about fight.
Yeah.
He took his team to the Sweet 16 last year. Just the second time in Ole Miss history. Did it under Rod Barnes back in 2001 with Justin Reed, Jason Flanagan, a terrific team.
There will be 4 free throws coming now for Gillespie.
That's the first head coach ejected from the opposing sideline since the guy that we love, Mark Fox, got thrown out of here back in February of 2012.
We'll see Mark Fox Saturday. We'll ask him about that.
Yeah, we will. He'll remember.
Oh, I'm sure he will. You know, and now you certainly hope for Ole Miss, while the message was play with fire, that they don't play foolish.
Yeah, that's a good line, and it's a line that you don't want to cross over. I think Chris Beard has really been proud of his guys' fight in this game. He promised us that these guys would fight, and I think that was his message right here, going back to his guys. Forget about the score. I expect you to outfight Tennessee the remaining 6:15 in this game.
Casilla must have wondered, like, who in the world
physical huddle
is breaking into this huddle of ours?
Casilla just said, can we go to the monitor for that contact? Casilla, as he coached us up before the game.
Exactly. Amen throws it up, and he kisses another one and off the glass.
He's just a special talent, Ravi. An absolute special talent with great hands. I mean, really soft hands. Between the legs, plays low again, understanding the importance of the ground is your friend. The taller you get in the game, the more important it is. And he's all of 6'11". He can do it going right and going left now through contact. His chest becoming a big part of his offensive game.
5th foul on Casilla. Nate Ament has got 20 in the game, 18 of those 20 in this second half. 19. What a performance by Ament and the Volunteers here in this second half. And it really was Nate Ament that helps turn things around.
Listen, Coach Beard, he warned us, right, that he might get tossed tonight? In a conversation with Alyssa, he said that. So I'm just telling you, I might not see the end of the game. Am I making that up, Alyssa?
I mean, he kind of facetiously was like, basically, if my team doesn't fight, I'm going to leave. So now I think he left to inspire more fight.
Yeah, they had fought.
No doubt they have, yeah.
He did say this to me at halftime, though, and I told you guys that he wasn't happy with the amount of contact that he felt like his guys were getting. So obviously that continued in the second half.
That's a pretty consistent theme from those that play Tennessee. I mean, you go into games with other teams saying, we know what we're in for. We're going to get grabbed. We're going to get pushed. They're going to knock us around. That's sort of what Tennessee has done, and the other coaches try to make officials and their own players aware of it. Tennessee, man, they are just so good here, Jimmy, in this building. As Ament launches a long one and buries it.
Well, he just went from projected 15th in the lottery to maybe 11th or 12th.
You can kind of feel it, right?
You can kind of feel it, yeah.
That size, that shot, his increase in strength, rebound in traffic, and a run out.
Watch this.
Evans would foul before Estrella flushed it through. An 11-1 Tennessee run. Go back to KC and the Sunshine Band in the studio.
Yeah, Ravi, you talked about Chris Beard not seeing the end of the game. You can see the beginning of the SMU-NC State game over on ESPNU. Boopy Miller, top assist man in the ACC, coming off a 20-point game. One of the electric guards in college basketball, Ravi.
All right, Kevin, thank you very much.
And a great name, Boopy Miller.
Maybe the best.
Yeah, maybe the best in the college game this year. You know, I was in a charity golf event this summer in Knoxville. Cade Phillips was out for the year with an injury, and Nate Ament were playing in the same portion as me. And he has, Nate Ament, great, not good, great hands around the green.
Really?
Yeah, and I think there's something that equates to that, right?
Soft touch, sure.
Yeah.
Well, the object in both games is to put the ball in the hole, isn't it?
It is, and I was just very impressed with how soft his hands were with a golf club, and you can see it on the court as well.
Got him trapped here, so he tries to dribble his way out of it, and he can call a timeout, and he got fouled instead.
Ravi, it's an interesting league, the SEC. We don't have the power team we had a year ago this year. I said on Sunday that early February last year, we knew who the best 4 teams were. It was Houston, Duke, Florida, and Auburn. And we don't have that to say about the SEC right now in the top. But certainly it's going to be a league with 10, 11 teams. Joe Lunardi has it projected, and it's the #1 Ken Pom team in the league in the country right now.
Amen. Knocks that one down. He now has got 25 points. Women's basketball takes over the SEC network on every Thursday night. Rebels next game highlights the second game of the doubleheader. They'll be in Tuscaloosa to take on Alabama. They're number 21. That's a 21 versus 13 matchup at 9 Eastern. Both those games available on the ESPN app. We did a lot of Tennessee basketball the last couple of years. And between Dalton Connect and then Chaz Lanier, what was missing was the score. And if Ament is going to be this guy, that changes Tennessee's outlook the rest of the season for sure.
Yeah, because now you got a real threat with he and Gillespie on the floor together. Gillespie came in averaging 17 in conference play, but look at the streak that this guy's been on the last 4 games. Averaging 23, 24 over the last 4. Ravi, when you hear guys like Nate Ament talking today about the game has slowed down, I'm seeing it better, and that's when games really take off for guys, and that's exactly what's happened for Ten and White the last 3 weeks.
Gillespie step back, no good. And again, they're doing this all without Felix Okpara as Claffey lifts off for 3.
Well, Buckyball and A&M has the SEC lead right now with only 1 loss, and I think they're a serious problem. Their schedule is fixing to become real for Texas A&M, but that style has equated to a bunch of wins quickly in this league. And you and I saw Florida Sunday. They look like the team that can maybe go the furthest in March Madness. Would you agree with that right now out of this league?
The way they looked, putting 72 points up in the paint against a decent Alabama team for sure.
Yeah.
Alabama's issues, they got to learn how to play defense more consistently. 22-point game, 79-57. The Ament Gillespie show has accounted for 45 points tonight. ESPN's exclusive presentation of college basketball is presented by Progressive Insurance. Bundle home and auto and save. Visit progressive.com.
We want to let you know that NC State SMU is underway right now over on ESPNU. The Wolfpack currently tied for 3rd in the ultra-competitive ACC. Early 7-4 Wolfpack lead. You'll see it next here on ESPN2, Ravi, after we go final.
All right, Kevin, thank you very much. Bomber Pride, Kevin and I, both Ithaca College graduates. You know that, Jimmy?
Yeah, I did know that.
Yeah. Our producer tonight, Scott Matthews, another South Hill guy. 3:02 here. As you look at the landscape of the SEC, you started to talk about it there. You know, Arkansas's loss at home is a real interesting one because protecting home turf is something most
huge
in this conference do.
Yeah.
That's what was stunning about the win. It wasn't that Kentucky beat them, it was they beat them on the road.
Yeah. And to your point about Alabama, I heard Nate Oates talking about today. LeBaron Philon competed so hard last year defensively. He's taken a step back, and Alabama offensively, we know they can score. Defensively, where they're going to have to find their footing. This Tennessee team's more than capable. I think their offensive efficiency right now is 40, which needs to continue to improve. It is behind Nate Ament. Defensively, Tennessee in the top 15, which they live under Rick Barnes. We talked about Bucky Ball, Florida.
There's our guy, Nico Bundalo.
Yeah, we finally got to call his name. You know, highly recruited out of high school, just hasn't found his spot under Chris Beard yet. But they like his potential.
And the point about Lanier and Connect was the ability of a guy to break you down, create his own shot, which we've seen Ament do a lot, including right there. That's been missing from the Tennessee offense, waiting for Ament to do this. Well, what a night tonight.
What we've seen in the second half from Nate Ament is what everybody saw in high school.
Yes.
I mean, his ability just to take whatever defense you throw at him and go get his shot off. And it came down pretty much to Tennessee and Duke. He could have gone anywhere, but he wanted to be hard coached by Rick Barnes. And the Kevin Durant influence had something to do with it. Rick Barnes, the last recruiting visit, showed a film of Kevin Durant at Allen Fieldhouse. And after the film, he turned it off. He said to Nate, Nate, if you don't want to be him, go somewhere else. And that's the challenge that he put on Nate Ament, and he's starting to look like it just a little bit.
Followed by Estrella. Now, I would have think that, and you've been around it for so long and coached it, that this idea of coaches criticizing high school kids that come to college saying that stuff worked in high school. When you can get college to feel like high school,
no doubt.
And that's what Ament seems to be doing now. And we've seen it with some other freshmen.
Well, one thing that Nate Ament has learned to do is what you did in 3 dribbles, you have to now do in 2. But his nose for his instincts in terms of cutting and getting himself open, driving that ball through contact now, keeping his head up, those slice cuts with and without the basketball, knifing through the defense off one bounce from 22 feet away. That is special stuff, and I don't see him taking any steps going backwards right now.
Well, that's the challenge. That's the blessing and the curse of a night like this.
But 4 straight games now. Rick Barnes made no punches about it. From the Florida game on, Nate Ament has become Nate Ament.
A big smile on the face of their head coach, Rick Barnes.
What a second half response by the entire Tennessee team, led by that guy.
Ament 26 of the 28. We're getting some chicken tonight.
We are.
We are. You missed 2 in a row. Well, we are eating. This has been a completely and wildly successful night for everybody rooting for the Volunteers and a free chicken dinner.
58 points in the second half for Tennessee in this game. A 1-point game at halftime. It has been all Vols the last 20.
Look at the smile on Rick Barnes' face.
Is he applauding for the free chicken tonight or the play of Nate Ament? I can tell you what it is. It's the latter.
Yeah, he doesn't need to. He can buy some chicken.
Yeah, he can buy a Chick-fil-A store. So could Nate Ament about another 3 months. But I said it earlier, because he's a 5-star talent and a 10-star kid, he has embraced every bit of hard coaching that Rick Barnes has thrown at him from day one. Ravi, we're pointing towards, see the coming up games. A&M Alabama tomorrow night is a big, big game in this SEC. If A&M goes in there and wins, everyone's chasing Bucky Ball the first week of February. What was your point?
They're not a cute story anymore?
No, they're a good team.
Right.
No, they're not a good story. They're a good team.
Jalen Carey, why not? No.
Well, if Kentucky takes care of business tomorrow night against Oklahoma, you and I are looking at a very important game in the SEC standings Saturday night in Rupp Arena.
To your point, I mean, this is all about the SEC tournament and the byes, the top 4. And Jimmy's right. I mean, the A&M schedule gets very difficult with the top teams in the conference still ahead of them. But look at all those teams with 3 losses: Tennessee, Kentucky, Arkansas, Vanderbilt. We get a game in Florida, what, a week from Saturday?
Yeah, Kentucky at Florida. I mean, Kentucky is such an interesting team right now. Just when we thought that they are not going to be an NCAA tournament team. Mark Pope pushes the right buttons. Like I said earlier, that win at Bud Walton is the most impressive win I've seen in the SEC this year.
58 points, Jimmy, in the second half for Tennessee. 58. They shot 56%, made 5 of 12 from 3. Carey got a push.
Well, basketball is important to this league, and there's a movement right now, Ravi, that's being spearheaded by the SEC and Garth Lissman to put those coaches' challenges and appeals under one umbrella and try to simplify that rule a little bit. I am all in favor of that. I think we're moving the game in the right direction.
I'm not sure you're going to find many people not in favor
of it. Yeah, but someone has to take the lead in the charge, and the SEC, I think, is going to be a big voice in some of the things we need to look at in the offseason. Big day coming up. What is it, Friday this week? The Bediako hearing?
Sure is.
Continues for Alabama.
Yep, February 6th. They'll learn about his future eligibility. Will he be able to finish the season with him or not?
What a second half by the Vols, huh?
They ended the first half 2 of 16. They shot 17 of 31. That's 55%. And they will win it 84-66. Our final score, Rick Barnes' team, only 1 loss here at the Food City Center. Nate Ament and company, big smiles on their faces. Beard booted early, 84-66 our final. For Jimmy Dykes, Alyssa Lang, and our entire crew, Carl Ravitch, college basketball continues with Kevin Brown.